Anyway, everybody, I want to get down to business tonight because we have some progress to make with our Blue Jackets in this nice little trial franchise that we have going on. I think already we have kind of discovered some of the things I like, some of the things that could be better. Let's be honest, most of the things that could be better are just in relation to EA's rosters in the first place. I think they're leaving a lot to be desired, but that's probably not going to change anytime soon. So there's that. But anyway, I digress. Digress Jones over here. We are ready for Season 3 with the Blue Jackets of Columbus. And I'm intrigued. Is this better than 24? Yes. I am intrigued to see how this team can do. That center depth is fantastic. We have a lot of younger players in the mix. Old Luca Del Belbaluz. I don't care what his rating is or anything, dude. He had 33 points in 46 games with 20 goals. We are absolutely giving him a chance. Although, granted, that was when we had high scoring on, so this could be much, much worse. But also, you never know. He could do great. And we're going to find out. And I think that's pretty much the theme of this team is seeing what some of these younger guys can do for us. Our defense, of course, the big additions over the last 2 years. Evan Bouchard via offer sheet, and then Olen Zellweger, who was an RFA for the Ducks. Denton Matejchuk wasn't quite working out for us the way we wanted, so we made a nice little change there to get Olen Zellweger, who is, granted, he is an offensive defenseman, which doesn't totally fit the theme for him right now. I might actually see if he's willing to change to a two-way. Actually, we already did, and that's right. He wasn't willing to change, was he? We already did that. Never mind. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. The goaltending is hilarious because, again, preseason, just say, hey, focus on making our goalies better. And they go up by like 2 overall. So Elvis is up to a 90. Jack Greaves at an 83. If we are not in a playoff spot, dealing Elvis, who's on an expiring contract with a 10-team no-trade list, that could be pretty good. And, Bunny, that is very true. That is very, very true. So, I don't know, man. We'll see. We got Sampo Ranta, Nolan Lalonde, and Matt Kessel as the scratches. In the AHL, Yuri Medvedev, Matthew Savoie, Luca Pinelli, and pretty much the top 6 are the only real prospects that we're trying to build up here. So, what's better this year than last year's game? No movement clauses, no trade clauses, the expanded conversation system. Most things, I would say, have been improved, even if ever so slightly. Defensively, the only guys that we're really focused on right now, Charlie Ehrlich and Luca Morelli. So that's good, too. And then goaltenders, Emil Vinny and Evan Gardner. So we're set up pretty well as a goaltending factory right now, which is nice. But the big question, how are these boys going to do? Playing this Blue Jacket Isles. That's true. Gameplay-wise, haven't played a ton, but a lot of people seem to like it. A lot of people don't. It's polarizing as always. I feel like it's been a more positive reception out of the gates. Tugi, don't have Emil Vinny on his team challenge. Literally impossible. Literally impossible. Didn't you need to start Gardner for a goal? Whereas Dag, 1 more season in the CHL. One more. He's 19, so we can't play him in the AHL. But yeah, the Gardner goal, it's like literally they're the same overall, so it's just going to flip the 2 back and forth anyway. So, nothing to worry about. Did I check the year 3 lines for other teams? I did not, but we could. As Big Logan Stanley on waivers. Logan, we don't need you. And then Adam Fantilli has fractured his ankle. All the injuries. All of the injuries to start the year. But, yeah, in terms of some of the things that we've noticed, I know they're actively working on it. It's also a side effect of The AHL missing some players as it is every year at the start of the game. But, there are some teams like the Bruins at 35 contracts. Again, they are hoping to have that issue fixed once the rosters are updated. Fingers crossed that is the case. It doesn't quite explain why the AI within franchise, and also, yes, we're 7-0. It doesn't quite explain why the AI within franchise is just not signing people as opposed to needing to have the roster kind of full. So that still sucks. Not very happy about that. And then the last time we took a look at the lines for other teams, I'm going to breeze through those kind of quickly. We're not going to check every team. But for the most part, it wasn't that bad, especially in terms of the scratches. And I'm going to guess that's still the case. The AI is not necessarily smart enough to fill out both an NHL and AHL roster, but who they're playing and where they're playing those particular players isn't that bad. And that still seems to be the case here, all things considered. Yeah, I mean, in terms of scratches, there's not an 85 overall dude scratched. So, Jason Robertson's hurt. DeBrinket's hurt. Yeah, so at least they're being a little bit smarter about scratches now, which is nice. But yeah, there's still some work to do for the AI GMs to be hey, please utilize your freaking contract spots, please. But that is what it is. How the hell are we 7-0, by the way? I feel like we should underplay that just a little bit. Every time I notice we're starting off the season strong and I say something, we immediately start losing games left and right. Or we suffer a catastrophic amount of injuries. All of the injuries. So many injuries. Well, I'm here for top line center Jesse Puljujärvi. Oh my God, Matt Kessel's playing offense. Okay. Give me a minute. It's going to take more work than I wanted. We'll call up Sokolov too. Honestly, best lines for now because of the ridiculous amount of injuries. Best lines. It's just the way to go. And then we lose our first game of the year, which again shouldn't be surprising given how many injuries this team has right now. The answer is a lot. We've had some bad injury luck. Some years it's been a little bit better. Oh my God. Despite not touching the injury sliders at all, dude, can we stop? Clearly this year is going to be one of the down years. Jesus. What are your thoughts on the jack I hit on Stützle? I don't care. I just don't care. So, you know how people were talking about, hey, the podcast and stuff like that? Are you doing that this year? I mentioned, hey, here's some of the fun things. There's fun things to talk about with hockey. Then there's the shit where it's just man, I just don't care anymore. And the big thing with that is officiating, the DOPS, and anything that has to do with that. I am just done with that conversation. I just don't care. I don't want to waste any more breath on it beyond this explanation right here, really. Is what it is. Luca Pinelli. Not going to become a sniper. Damn it, Luca. Damn it, Luca. That is unfortunate. We're going to have to double check with him to see if that means we're probably going to move him. Caden Lindstrom. Okay, so Caden has made the switch to being a two-way. +1 defensive awareness, shot blocking, and stick checking. So Caden Lindstrom from a power forward, we are looking at having him be a Selke winner. So I am happy about that. Any other ones? Adam Fantilli can now play left wing, swapping him and Lindstrom. So good stuff there for Adam Fantilli. Adds left wing to his position options. Shout out to Dusty, by the way. What's up? Matthew Savoie can now play right wing, which is very good. Very, very good. All right, so Pinelli is the only one to fail for us right now, which is what it is, and that was the last one. Okay. Also, we went from 7-0 to 10-5, so that sounds about right. Mr. Pinelli. Pinelli. We need to talk. We were trying to change you over to a sniper, right? I mean, he's still a playmaker. Like, that's okay. We wanted to make more of his shooting ability. He's okay. It would be better if he's a sniper, but we can leave him as a playmaker for now. It's not that big of a deal. God, we still have a pretty sweet amount of injuries. We got to send down Yegor Sokolov here. See what we can do. Former Sabres legend. Well, no, he'll always be a Sabres legend. He's a former Sabre, but he'll always be a Sabres legend. Sokolov doesn't get claimed. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, we still got to wait for the team to get healthy here. So we'll worry about the Lions after that. But it is nice that Caden Lindstrom is now a two-way because, again, he had like 91 defensive awareness heading into this season. There's a realistic shot that he could be a perennial Selke candidate for us. Jesus, the amount of injuries. I can double check the Fantilli contract. It wasn't that bad, though, because it was still his first official contract. Zach Werenski hurt again. He played the entirety of last season, man. But oh my God, the injuries have been bad this year. Sheesh. My God. Bump up Brendan Smith. And forwards, that's 8, 9, 10, 11. We'll call up Sokolov and Shaw, I guess. I mean, my God. My God, the amount of injuries. Like, the fact we're over 500 still is pretty nice. And actively winning games. But 13, 10-0. Not great after the 7-0 start. But we have been suffering from a hell of a lot of injuries. Our defense, in terms of goals against per game, third in the league. We are struggling to score goals at a high rate. But again, with the amount of injuries, it's really not that surprising. Yeah, Fantilli's hurt. Del Bell Blues, Werenski. It's not even necessarily worth doing a stat check right now. Let's actually sim to January 1st as opposed to December. Hopefully the team's healthy at that point, and we can get kind of a better look at what's going on for us right now. Del Bell Blues is back. Good. And we'll send down Logan Shaw because he's not going to get claimed on waivers. Connor Carrick in Cleveland fractures his jaw. Monahan's healthy. Do we even know that he was hurt? I didn't even know he was sick. In terms of the draft class, this is the Landon DuPont year. Caden Paul, Christian Gunderson, Nikita Yashkin, and Jackson Jacobson. The projected top 5 for this draft. The Olympia Ljubljana. Sorry to any Austrians out there. Interesting. Have we experienced the injury request trade glitch yet? No, we have not, thankfully. We did have a morale hit that we suffered through, but no trade request. Send down Pool Party. We can send down Sokolov. Get Fantilli. As a Coyotes fan, who should I cheer for now? That's a tough call. Adam Fantilli's hurt again. Jesus Christ. That's a tough call. Like, obviously, you want to think from probably a geographical perspective, but also someone that wasn't really considered a rival. Which means you are looking who's Deke cheering for. He's gone back to being a Red Wings fan, which is understandable. He is from Michigan, but has lived in Arizona for like 15, 20 years or something like that at this point. Oh, good. Elvis tore his hamstring. Jesus. So for him, it was just kind of natural to be like, all right, I'm just a full-on Red Wings fan again. Arizona had rivals. We'll see. That's the other aspect is, did they actually have rivals? They could, as a Coyotes fan, you could also just be like, fuck it, Utah. I mean, it's not in my state anymore, but it is still my team. I wouldn't blame people for being like, fuck it, still staying attached to Utah. It'd probably be tough to go for a Californian team. So, yeah, I think you would be looking at like Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, Utah, Seattle. I mean, could root for worse teams than Seattle, that's for sure. But, all right, 19-16-1. Welcome to 2027. That doesn't seem that can't be a real year yet. It's 2024 right now. It's just fucking weird. Let's take a look at how the boys have done so far this year through, frankly, an ungodly amount of injuries. We are currently 2 points out of a playoff spot, although the Flyers do have 2 games in hand. So we're not quite on a playoff pace at the moment. As far as the forwards are concerned, it is Kent Johnson leading the way, 29 points in 34 games. Monahan doing well. Marchenko, Johnson, and Monahan all with 12 goals. Gaden Lindstrom, 26 points this year. Del Belbelouz has 22 points in the 25 games that he's played. He is still awesome. I love him. Brindley Frondell. Svechkov's done okay. But yeah, like Sampo Ranta, who was supposed to be our 13th forward, he's played 27 games out of the 36. Adam Fantilli's been limited to 9 games. He does have 8 points in those 9 games, but Jesus, this has been rough to deal with this amount of injuries. And then defensively, we have Bouchard, who is closing in on a point per game, which is nice. Werenski's been limited to 20 games. Severson and Nazko have had it pretty rough on the third pairing. But yeah, the fact that like Brendan Smith has played 15 games is not a good sign at all. The goaltending has been pretty good, although the fact that Nolan Lalonde has had to play games this year is a disaster. But Greaves and Merzlikins are doing all right. Shout out to Paradise for the old gift sub. Thank you for that.
Taste the goodness
Thank
of the
you
biscuit.
for that. League-wide, Sam Reinhart. 60 points in 37 games. Matthew Tkachuk up there. Barkov. That's got to be the Panthers' top line. Got Kucherov and point. McKinnon's up there. No McDavid this time, at least at the moment. Top goal scorer is Austin Matthews. Got McKinnon up there. Barkov, Kucherov, Svechnikov is your top 5 right now. Defensively, 41 points for Victor Hedman and a plus 28. He is the favorite to win the Norris this year. Adam Fox is currently hurt. Quinn Hughes is currently hurt, so that's going to help Bouchard a little bit. Bouchard, by the way, up to 8 goals. Given that he had very, very few last year. What was it, 3? Winningest goaltenders, you got Vasilevsky, Demko, and Wallstead now as the starter in Minnesota. Your shutout leaders, Stuart Skinner and Linus Allmark. Save percentage amongst starters. Allmark's up there, Spencer Knight. Bouchard was an offer sheet. 4 first-round picks, baby. All right. Save percentages are definitely looking a little bit better. No one's going to hit 90 this year. And Max Pielmeyer's up there. Adam Sikora. Fedor Svechkov, still considered a rookie. Interesting. And Jordan Dumais out there for Winnipeg. 13 points in 36 games. Again, I don't think he's going to be bad, but I also, at the moment at least, don't regret trading him. So, Our big thing right now just needs to be injury prevention. Like, for the love of God, can this team stay healthy? That would be awesome. Because we have really, really struggled. We did trade Jordan DeMay, yeah. He's going to be best established as a sniper. He didn't want to play as a sniper. He wanted to stay as a playmaker, so out he goes. Out he goes. Play the style that I know you'll succeed in, or get the hell out, has been our approach. Help me help you instead of standing in your own way. And Jordan DeMay, Denton Matejchuk, they were both on that list of players where it's like, all right, you're not gonna listen to me and allow me to help you succeed, then you can go fail and let down somebody else. And unfortunately, my karma for that decision is now to get absolutely destroyed by injuries. Thought he was a good enough playmaker to stay. The thing is, I don't think he was a good enough playmaker to play over Gavin Brindley. If he was a sniper, then there was a great chance that Kirill Marchenko would be traded and that we would have ended up keeping Jordan DeMay long term. But he made that choice. All right, it looks like, granted we're a week away. God damn it. I was going to say, it looks like we're going to be fully healthy by the start of the month. And then Josh Doan immediately gets hurt. You hate to see it as we just continue to hover around 500, which is honestly not that bad given the extent of the injuries that we have had. I mean, it is extensive. My God. But that brings us to February 1st of 2027. As we are currently 9 points back. 9 points back of the Florida Panthers. And 11 points back of Pittsburgh. Unless we have a big, big month, we might be looking at having to chalk this year up as a throwaway after making the playoffs last year. And it really is because of the absurd amount of injuries. The number of Jackets that go on to win cups after being moved. It's fair. That is fair. JK, were you at least happy for Sergei Bobrovsky? By the way, shout out to JK. Also, currently streaming a Blue Jackets franchise in a different style. God, why aren't shoutouts working anymore the old way? Is the bot dead? Hold on. No, the bot's fine. I don't know why that's not working. I might need to actually use moderator mode for once. Bullshit. This is bullshit, I tell you. Anyway. Are we fully healthy? Almost. Outside of Elvis Merzlikins, we are fully healthy, so that's good. I know it's beating a dead horse, but Jesus Christ, the menu lag in this game. I don't think it's been as bad as it's been in years past. I mean, it can still happen, but I don't think it's horrific. But maybe I'm just a brutal shill, you know? I guess I am going to keep Lalonde as the backup because it doesn't really matter. And for forwards, we didn't have to send anybody down. Yeah, we're good. Although if we send down Samparanta for the moment, yeah, because he's not going to get claimed. Let's see what we can get this team to look like now that they are almost fully healthy. So again, it is supposed to be Lindstrom, Johnson, Marchenko, although there is now a debate as to whether or not Caden Lindstrom should be a center. And honestly, maybe that's exactly what Fantilli needs. Although, now that Fantilli can play the wing, we can technically stock up here, but again, we want Del Belbaluz to be on that higher line. So what if... It makes sense to keep Del Belbaluz down there, I would say, starting my global series. Yeah, Frank, fair enough. Maybe I'm even starting something on the editing front. Who's to say? Maybe. Fantilli, Johnson, Marchenko, Del Belbaluz, Lindstrom, and Brindley. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And then Frondell, Monahan, Dones, Fetchkoff, Sillinger, McCown. I mean, that center depth, now that we have Cade Lindstrom there instead of Adam Fantilli, is hilarious. Now, technically, Johnson and Brindley, both on different lines. We could also do... Yeah, I guess the other way was a little bit better for chemistry purposes, so we'll go with that. And then defensively, again, Werenski, Bouchard, Zellweger, Yersak, Nasco, and Severson. Just right now, we're having to rely on Jack Reeves as the starter because of the ridiculous amount of injuries, again, that we have suffered throughout the season. We'll call up Yegor Sokolov, I guess, to be the healthy scratch. That's fine. AHL, we're just going to go best lines at this point because there have been way too many injuries. Way too many. And again, that team won almost 60 games last year and then failed in the first round of the playoffs, so that sucked. But this month, it's going to determine kind of where things stand for us this year. We do have a couple of players on expiring deals that could be moved out. Maybe recoup a little bit of value. Again, given that we do not have our own first-round pick for this year and 2 more after it, because this is Bouchard's second year on the team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, season 3, we didn't have him in season 1. Yeah, there you go. I can math. Zach Werenski was apparently banged up, but still playing. But yeah, this would be very disappointing. Schnellner, just some random AHL. Yeah, it would be disappointing. We started the season 7-0. But, again, crazy amount of injuries. There's only so much you can do when the injury bug decides you're done. And that has been the case this year. We do at least get Elvis back, but again, he's one of those guys on an expiring contract, and for a 90 overall goalie, you know his trade value is going to be high. How cooked would offer sheets be in the NHL if the Stepien rule that the NBA was implemented? It just wouldn't work. It's the rule of not being able to trade multiple first-round picks. I mean, I guess technically it could work because it's not trading the picks, but I mean, yeah, you're talking about an entirely like CBA altering set of circumstances there. 28, 27-4. 4 wins in our last 10. We are 12 points out of the playoffs. 10 at best if we win our next game. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. That is a bit of a bummer. Damn. Well, Sillinger gets hurt, so he'll be untradeable. Probably does make sense then to just go for it now. I normally prefer to wait until the deadline for dramatic purposes, but now's the time to look. In terms of draft picks, we do not have a pick until the second round this year, or third round, excuse me, as we also are missing our second round pick. In terms of goalies, again, Elvis on an expiring deal. We kept him for the duration of his contract, but if we are not going to make the playoffs, it is probably best to trade him. And I want to see what offers are out there. Nobody wants him currently. I mean, obviously we can find a manual trade, but nobody wants him at the moment. Jack Reeves has been great as a backup this year. Maybe not the best win-loss record, but statistically he's been pretty good. He should be an RFA once the deal is up, which is nice. Okay. Steak, right? I mean, he's a 78. Not even 20. He is 20 years old now. Can't sign him till next year. We might have to re-explore an Elvis trade at the deadline. Is there anybody else on an expiring deal right now? No. Werenski's got 1 year left after this. I mean, there's guys like Wotherspoon and Kessel that are filler players. We might not even be able to do that much at the deadline. Marchenko. Marchenko's deal is up. I don't think he's going to be that sniper, that high-end sniper that we're hoping for, even though we got him to develop Silver Snipe with 30 goals last year. I mean, he's shooting 9% this year. I think we have to explore moving on from Marchenko. And again, had Jordan Dumais been willing to switch to a sniper, that would have been his spot. That would have been his spot. Pi, we didn't do the final era, but yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Justin Poirier is a sniper. I mean, we could play him in that role for the rest of the year. If we were to deal Marchenko, what type of offers are out there? Pavel Zacha and a third. No, thank you. 2 seconds and Cody Ceci. Okay. Philip Dano. A second, Gavrikov and Warren Fogle. A second, Ryan O'Reilly and a third. Carrier O'Reilly and a third. I mean, it's Dougie Hamilton. It's Dougie Hamilton. That's tough to say no to. Well, I don't understand the trade logic from the game's perspective. But we'd be kind of dumb to not explore a potential Matty Beniers trade. Do we have the cap? Yes. Yes, we do. Okay, okay, so his morale is down right now because he's a second line forward, only an 81. That's a sign that his morale is down. He's not playing particularly well. The team's not doing particularly well either. He's listed as a two-way, which is totally fair. So, I mean, it's just looking like they're ready to step away. He gets a 12-team no-trade clause in the last 2 years of his deal. Oh, it's for sure that's why. Trust me, the overall's down. The role, it's morale. Take that to the bank. Here's the thing. Does he fit this team? As a two-way forward at center, we already have Lindstrom. We already have Sean Monahan as our captain. I don't really know if Matty fits the team. I don't really think he does. Don't get me wrong, I'm still tempted. I have a thought. Dougie is a top four defender. God, he's 33. Jesus Christ. Wow, he's had a really bad year, too. 18 offensive defenseman. We need to check something really quickly. We need to check something. That something is talking to Evan Bouchard. And that's something about Evan Bouchard is whether or not he is willing to change position. Because if we moved Bouchard to right wing and then traded for Dougie Hamilton to replace him, it would have been perfect. But he's not willing to play ball. Damn it. Now, technically, we could trade for Dougie and try that, but that's a big risk because that right-hand side on defense is already pretty well stocked up. Oh, I get these mad scientist ideas, and they're just not coming to fruition as much as I'd like. Okay. So we know about Marchenko. We know about Elvis. Is there anybody else? I don't think so, to be honest, because we do have just such a young team. Ooh, last year of Ken Johnson's contract. Oh, by the way, Fantilli was 5 years at just under $6 million. There we go. Del Bell Blues will need a deal. Svechkov will need a deal. I mean, those are the two big bargaining pieces at this point in time. Are Marchenko and Elvis. Okay. So what we need to do is risk pissing off either of them. And, okay, I need a forward. I'm going to wrap these two in bubble wrap until the deadline just to see if the AI is going to be a little bit nicer to me in terms of potential returns. I know Matty Beniers is a big-time potential return, but he's not necessarily the perfect fit for us right now. Again, like, if we get Matty Beniers, where the hell does he play? You know? Got the flippity-flop on the 4 months. Flippity-dippity, how are you? Unless these guys are left-handed shots. Yeah, it's just not a perfect fit right now. Again, we got Monahan, who continues to do really, really well for us. Last year, his no movement clause, too. We'd have to try to get him to waive that, and our luck hasn't been too great on that front. Was a sniper got Carlson to move forward? Yes, that is possible. That is possible. All right, so let's get Kirill Marchenko out of the lineup for a day or two. Fuck it, we can just put Yegor Sokolov up there. That's fine. And then Elvis, I'm going to sit out for Lalonde at the moment until we get through these next couple of days. As we draw New Jersey and win 6-4. And then one more game before the deadline. It's Nashville. And we lose in a shootout. And, Cole Sillinger is actually healthy. Okay. I didn't think that was going to happen. So let me send down Brendan Smith because he's a scratch right now. There we go. Not that I plan on moving Sillinger, but... All right. Well, let's see. Deadline day. Season 3. Elvis is the big fish. Okay. Pellick's out there. Hurdle, DeBrincat, Pollock. Okay. Elvis is the big fish out there right now. There were no offers for him before. Has that changed? No. So if we're going to move Elvis, we got to do it manually. Marchenko. 2 seconds. Second and third, Lazar. Callum Ritchie in 2/3. Deno. Gerald Foligno in a second. That's not too bad. Foligno would be a little bit overpaid. That'll be a fourth liner. Mills, what's happening, man? How are you? The Dougie deal is still out there, although now they're not offering a second with it. And Seattle has taken Matty Beniers off the table, which, again, he just wasn't a great fit. Let's take a look around the league. See what's going on with certain teams. We might have to be a little bit more on the ball in terms of trades this year. Pavel Zaka, again, doesn't make sense for us. Denoria, I mean, a medium 6 isn't bad, but we have to honestly aim even higher than that. Precision's not going to be the guy for us. Nobody there. Joe Aginla. Hey, Joe. Colorado right now, top of my list of teams I'm interested in doing business with. Hopefully they don't do anything stupid before we can actually talk to them. We'll see if they do. Colorado right now is very, very interesting. Anybody else with like a medium elite prospect? I mean, Pelican Pollock, but again, doesn't really fit our timeline. It's Colorado. If there's a deal, and Matty Beniers is still out there. Matty is still out there. Dougie Hamilton just got traded. Seattle and Colorado are the two to talk to right now. Again, Colorado, Joe Iginla, Callum Ritchie. We might honestly be able to pull off 2 different trades here for everything involved. You know, if we can get a player like Matty Beniers for pennies on the dollar compared to his actual value, we have to do it, and we'll just make it work. I don't know what that's going to entail in terms of making it work, but we're going to try. The question is, do the Kraken need a goalie or a winger? In terms of goalies, they already got 3 decent ones, so another winger definitely wouldn't be too bad for them. So if we can have this be the basis of the Marchenko trade, and we're not going to have to add too much more. We have the picks to use. Marchenko and a 4th for Matty Beniers. He wants out. They want to sever ties. That's a done deal. Matty Beniers, welcome to Columbus. And Colorado. Iginla and Ritchie are definitely targets here. Goalie-wise, they have Decord, Anuin, and Ellis. Decord is hurt. I mean, it's Colorado as well. I mean, for them to be able to just go for it makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, I can kind of justify that Elvis trade. And Elvis is willing to go there, but they'd be over the cap. So we can retain on Elvis, boost up his value a little bit more. We have the cap room to do this. Obviously, we'll have to add a little bit more to make this deal happen, though. What if we add a 3rd rounder from Boston? So Elvis and a 3rd for Joe Iginla and Callum Ritchie? Not enough. Who needs draft picks? What about another 3rd? This one from Winnipeg. Still not enough. What about Edmonton's 3rd? Shit. I might have to give up a little bit more than I want to. Elvis and 4 3rd-round picks. A bit off in value. Okay. We do have to give up a little bit more than I wanted. A little bit more. Matty, by the way, an 86 overall. Not an 81, as we knew. Swa's probably not going to make it, but whatever. It's just going to have to be draft picks. 2nd rounder next year from Vancouver. Asset no longer on team. Oh, no! Oh, dude, they made a trade. It was Ritchie, right? Fuck. Please tell me that Iginla's still there. They pulled the trigger on a different trade before we could get the deal done, and they've taken Iginla off the board. Ah, that hurts. That hurts. Okay, well, again, teams can change what their board looks like. Or their block, I should say. I doubt, was it Vegas too? I doubt that there is another player the caliber of Iginla in terms of a younger guy with high trade value. That sucks, dude. That really sucks. Those two were going to be perfect for our team, and now we're probably looking at having to trade Elvis for picks, which isn't the worst thing in the world to get back into the 1st round, but it's also less than ideal. It's Yep. Okay. That sucks. That sucks. If it was indeed Vegas that pulled the trigger on that trade before we could do anything, they really screwed us over there. In terms of the standings, I just want to take a look and do right by Elvis here. So we got Tampa, Toronto, Buffalo, Florida, Montreal, Minnesota, Winnipeg, Chicago, Dallas, and Utah. You got the New York Rangers, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Carolina. And in the Pacific, Vancouver, Anaheim, Vegas, and Edmonton. I want to take a look at which one of those teams that are incredibly likely to make the playoffs. I want to see who needs a goalie the most, but most importantly, who's willing to trade a first-round pick. So, Anaheim, don't really need a goalie. We'll take them off the list. Buffalo, definitely don't need a goalie. Take them off the list. Calgary wasn't there. Carolina, don't need a goalie. Vegas loves moving draft picks. They sure do. Chicago has Aiden Hill, Peter Mrazek. They're fine. Colorado, there's still an argument for them. They also weren't super far up there playoff-wise, though. Dallas, they got DeSmith and Ottinger. So they're not really going to be there either. Detroit wasn't on our list. Edmonton has Skinner and Rodrigue. Halak. Dude, Yara Halak hasn't retired in this timeline? Florida's got Spencer Knight, Caden Primo. Again, right now we're just trying to do well by Elvis and send him to a team where he'll actually play. Los Angeles was not on the list, so we won't worry about them. Minnesota, Wallstead, Gustafson. Montreal, don't need a goalie. There aren't too many teams that need a goalie, apparently. Nashville wasn't on the list. Rangers still have Shesterkin and Quick. They only have 3 goalies signed. That's always fun. Philly has Urson, but not much behind him. Are they willing to trade their first-round pick? No. All right, that's not really going to work out well for us either. We are running out of potential suitors very quickly. Very, very quickly. Pittsburgh's not willing to trade their first. They don't need a goalie anyway. Tampa has Vassy, so they're fine. Toronto has plenty of goalies, but they could use an upgrade. Not willing to trade their first, but it is a bit lower value. We might be able to make it work with Toronto. Utah could use an upgrade at goalie. Not willing to trade their first because nobody ever is. It's a pain in the ass. Trade deadline. No one's willing to move their fucking first rounder. Vancouver. Don't need a goalie. Vegas doesn't need a goalie at all. And Winnipeg does not need a goalie. I mean, Toronto's pretty much the best fit. Toronto is pretty much the best fit. I mean, they already got Hill to be in the AHL, but they're missing an elite level starter. So unless there's a deal to be found after our Colorado spot got blown up, it's probably going to be a deal with Toronto. Less than ideal. Yeah, no trades found. One more look around the league just to see if anyone's added a prospect, a high-end one, to make this deal happen with. Dom, what's going on, man? Calling for hockey. Jesus. I would understand not being able to talk. My God. That is quite the day at the office. Yeah, we are just, there's no top-notch deal for us anymore. Thanks a lot to Vegas for blowing up my Colorado trade. Bastards. The bastards. Yeah. All right. Well, it is either Toronto or Utah. Probably Toronto. Yeah, I mean, we can't get any top-notch prospects, so right now it's looking at picks. Utah's definitely not willing to move their first. Toronto has made a deal. And then Kevin Shattenkirk, a third and a fourth. Okay. Utah's pick is going to be too valuable. We got to aim for Toronto here. If Elvis will even go here, I hope he will. Yeah, he will. Elvis to Toronto, huh? Gotta do what we gotta do. Definitely not getting the ideal return we were hoping for, but again, Vegas blew up our spot. Vegas blew up our spot. How much more can we possibly get? Quite far off. Well, they'd accept a first and a second, but they don't want to put Stolars on waivers. Fuck. Oh my god, dude, we're gonna get stuck with Elvis here. We are gonna get stuck with Elvis. Now somehow, because we added in the Hildebeest, we're quite far off. Now I know this won't affect waivers, but I'm hoping the AI will be kind of dumb. Shit. Okay. New game plan. Acquire Anthony Stolars, flip him at the draft. We pretty much have no choice but to acquire Anthony Stolars here to get this deal to go through. So Merzlikins on 50% and a third from Boston for a first, a second, and Stolars is done. Okay. So Stolars will be our guy for the rest of the year. We are now rooting for Toronto's failure. But it'll be Greaves and Stolars, and then, I mean, Greaves will probably stay. You have an hour to flip Stolars. I don't want to get in trouble for flipping Stolars, though, is the problem. We've already kind of pushed the limits about flipping players already, so I don't really want to risk it again. And it's fine. I mean, he can just sit around. So the big acquisition ends up being Matty Beniers, which... it's going to be a little bit awkward to see where he's going to go. I mean, this season might be a little bit more of a rehabilitation project for him. We'll see. I think I would have preferred Joe Aginla just because we could have crafted him into what we wanted him to be, whereas Beniers is a little bit more of a set in stone type of piece right now, but it was a steal of a deal for us. And who knows whether or not we keep him, we flip him, time will tell.